So last class, we discussed about general topics regarding the interrupts. So these are the interrupt as a interrupt is a signal, maybe a software signal or a hardware signal, which interrupts the processor operation. So whenever the processor is received an interrupt, it stops the routine work and executes the work. Apart from receiving an interrupt, that one is completed first and get back to the routine works. So there are two types of interrupts. One is a hardware interrupts, another one is software interrupts. The hardware interrupts sources are the hardware circuits. The external devices, it initialize the interrupts. So whenever it communicates with the processor. Whenever its interrupt is received by the processor, it understands that the device is ready for exchanging the data. The software interrupts are initiated by executing the software instructions, particularly in 8086 processor. The software interrupt is initialized after executing the INT instruction. So these hardware interrupts are, again, it is divided into two types. So one is a maskable, another one is the non-maskable interrupts. The maskable interrupts you can enable or disable with the help of the instructions. The non-maskable interrupts are not disabled by the instructions. So non-maskable interrupts, you can't disable or enable by the interrupts. With the help of instructions. The maskable interrupts you can enable or disable with the help of the instructions. Next, after receiving an interrupt, the processor performs the following operations. So one is one of the operation is it pushes the flags onto the stack and clear the instruction flag. Another one is clear the trap flag and push the code segment area and push the instruction pointer address and fetches the ISR address for the execution of the interrupt service routine. Here it is a mainline program, it is an interrupt service routine. This one is executed after receiving an interrupt at a certain point. So after completion of execution of the interrupt service routine and get back to the mainline program for getting the return address from the stack area. So this is the action it performed by any processor after executing after getting an interrupt from any one of the source. The next, so interrupt vector table. So interrupt vector is an address. Under that, so it stores the information related to the interrupt service routine. Otherwise interrupt service procedure. Just like it is an indirect way of executing the one particular procedure or particular problem after receiving an interrupt. So whenever interrupt is received by the processor, internally, automatically it executes one for call. So there are two types of calls. One is the near call, another one is a for call. Near call means your subprogram, that is interrupt service routine, and followed by the main program. Both are lies in a single segment. But this is not happens in case of the interrupt type execution, because the interrupt service routine and the main program both are lies in different segments. If it is different segment, that we call it as both are far away from each other. Meaning is far away from each other. If they said that near, they must be lies in a same segment. same segment. With that point of view, so divide it into near call or far call. But all interrupt service subroutines, they are in outside the segment only, outside the current segment. So that whenever the interrupt is received, automatically one far call is executed. Whenever the call instruction is executed, the code segment area contents and instruction pointer contents are copied onto the stack. That already I shown here. So this is the push the contents of CES and push the contents of IP. The reason for this one is internally automatically one far call is executed. That is not physical, it's a virtually. So that process will be takes place immediately after receiving an interrupt. Completion of this one, it starts the execution of the interrupt service routine. So that is about the interrupt. So this interrupt vector address. So interrupt vector is an address. Those addresses are kept in a memory. So such a block we call it as interrupt vector table. And the interrupt addresses are kept in memory at particular place. So that entire one we call it as a interrupt vector table. In 8086 processor, there are 256 interrupt sources. So they call it as type 0 to type 255 interrupts. Type 0 to type 255. So each interrupt, they assign one type number, type 0 to type 255. Each interrupt has its own address. That address is called as interrupt vector address. So each interrupt takes the 4 memory locations for storing the information related to the interrupt service routine. So information is nothing but where the interrupt service routine is stored. And we have to specify the interrupt service routine is kept in so and so segment area with the address of 5000 or 6000. In the same way, you have to specify the offset address of your interrupt service routine. So that can be specified within these vector addresses. So each interrupt, it took the 4 memory locations. Among the 4 memory locations, the first 2 memory locations is copies the IP address. The next 2 memory locations is copies the CS address, code segment address. That's why it takes because IP is 16-bit, CS is 16-bit. So there are 2 16-bit data. Each 16-bit requires 2 memory locations. So that there are 2 16-bits requires 4 memory locations. There are 256 interrupts. Each one takes 4 memory locations. So that the total size of this one is 1 KB table. 1 kilobytes. So this information is embedded in 1 megabyte space from the bottom end. Bottom end means 00002 to 003FF. That area is allocated for interrupt vector table. So each interrupt has its own address. That one is called as a interrupt vector address. Among these 256 interrupts, the first 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 5 interrupts are the dedicated interrupt center. The name is 0 to 4, type 0 to type 4 are called it as a dedicated interrupts. So dedicated interrupts means they have a specific work. When certain exception or certain condition will arise, automatically an interrupt is initialized. Let us say one simple one is type 0 interrupt. Type 0 interrupt name is divide error. So divide error means whenever the number is division with 0, always the resultant value is infinity. That one is. So whenever that situation will occurs in any place of the program, it automatically initiates the type 0 interrupt. The type 0 interrupt is a divide error. The address of type 0 interrupt is 5 zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This is an address of this one. And whenever this interrupt is generated, what is the condition is divide error. Whenever divide error will occurs, the processor entered into this address. Within this address, the user specifies the what you have to do whenever this condition will arise. అంటే అక్కడ ఒక అడ్రస్ ఇచ్చి ఉంటాం 5,000 6,000 7,000. Suppose if you are assigned 5,000, in a 5,000 we write something, we write one program. That program is executed whenever the divide error is occurs. Whenever the divide error is occurs. Let us say one simple example is whenever the divide error interrupt is generated. So I want to add the contents in AX with the BX. So that's a very simple task is I want to add AX with the contents of BX whenever the divide error will occurs. So that addition of add AX come BX is a interrupt service routine program. That one is kept in a 5,000 location. Let us assume that 5,000 location. Now we start the execution of the processor. At some point it receives the error. That error is divide error. That one is called it as an interrupt. Whenever that situation is identified, it immediately jumps 0, 0, 0, 0. ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేస్తుంది ప్రాసెస్ అనేది ఎక్కడికి ఇంటరప్ట్ వెక్టార్ అడ్రస్ ఆఫ్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ సిచ్యువేషన్, దట్ పర్టికులర్ ఇంటరప్ట్ ఈ లొకేషన్కి వచ్చేస్తుంది. Within this location, it identifies, so what is the work allotted by the user. That work allotment is what is the work you are allotted is addition of AX contents with BX. So అక్కడ ఒకే ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఉందనుకోండి, you can write here. If you have more than one instruction, you write separate program. That is, the concept will be varied from the processor to processor. In 8086 processor, it is not possible to write a program within a vector address. We have to write as a separate program. That program address you can define within a interrupt vector address. Ninna clear cheppan, add AX BX, that is the interrupt service routine. The address of interrupt service routine is 5,000. That 5,000 is stored in 0, 0, 0, 0 locations. 0, 0 locations. Whenever interrupt is generated, the processor entered into 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 location. Under that, it fetches the address of ISR. What is an address of ISR is 5,000. That collects the 5,000 and then go for 5,000 location. It executes the program in 5,000 location and again come back to the mainline programs. Just like it is a permanent address. Whenever that interrupt is generated, it simply go to that particular address. Within that address, the designer or user, you have to specify the address of interrupt service routine. So that is an idea behind this divide error. Second one is single step interrupt. Single step interrupt is nothing but a trap. So whenever you need to debugging a program, to debug the program, to identify the errors, the processor must be entered into single step interrupt. So whenever the processor entered into the single step execution, for every instruction execution, one single step interrupt is generated. So such type of environment is required to make it as trap flag equal to 1. Next one is non-maskable interrupt. So it is a highest priority interrupt. Non-maskable is a highest priority. So in a pin diagram, I think it is pin number 16 or 17, that is NMI, non-maskable interrupt. Whenever the non-maskable interrupt is received by the processor is entered into 0008 memory location. That interrupt is type 2 interrupt. It is the highest priority interrupt among all the interrupts. This is an highest priority. The vectors of this one is 008. type 3 interrupt. This is 1 byte INT instruction. So in a laboratory, for every program is end with int 3, INT 3. That one is called as breakpoint interrupt. Breakpoint interrupt. Otherwise, 1 byte INT instruction interrupt. So this is an instruction. This is an interrupt which is generated when the INT instruction is executed. INT 3, INT 31, INT 40, INT 255. These are all the interrupts. So whenever the such instructions are executed, one interrupt is initialized. Overflow. The overflow will occur when a certain limit is exceeds. Otherwise, suppose if the two numbers are added, two 8-bit numbers are added, the resultant value is 9-bit, but we have 8-bit register only. So 9th bit, where you can store? So we can't store the 9th bit. That means the size of the register is not sufficient to store your result. So just like it is an overflow, certain limit is exceeds. So type 4 interrupt is generated. So these are the type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3 interrupts. They are dedicated. These interrupts are not used by the user. They are used as a dedicated interrupts. Dedication means divide by error means we have to go with type 0. We don't go with type 23, 25, 26 for divide 0. So this is only for type 0 for divide error. Single step, non-maskable and 1 byte overflow, etc. From type 5 to 32, so type 5 to 32, so you can use for any purpose. So remaining all you can use for any purpose. So why you are dividing into 3 parts? From type 5 to type 32 or type 255, you can use for any purpose. But here sometimes they are asking, so find out the vector address of type 4 interrupt. Find the vector address of type 4 interrupts. For every vector address of that corresponding type interrupt is a multiples of 4. Suppose if it is a type 3 interrupt, let us say type 3. So this 3 is multiplied with 4. 3 into 4, 12. The 12 is converted into hexaform. 12 means C. So that is the meaning. That is the address is. The address of the type 3 interrupt is 000C. So that is the starting address. So if it is a type 32, 32 into 4. 32 is into 4 means 128. If it is a 128, that is corresponding hexa value is 80. 080. So that is a way you can identify the vector address. So this type of one we call it as vector interval 4 enter. And for every interrupt, it took 4 address locations. But in case of 8085 processor, for every interrupt vector, difference is 8 address locations. 8 address locations. That one is called as interval of 8 enter. Interval of 8. This one is called as interval of 4. Interval of 4. So this difference is required in one place. Shortly I can explain where it is required. So these are the reserved interrupts. These are the for available interrupts. Otherwise we call it as all interrupts you can use. So this is about the interrupt vector table. So this can be stored in first 1 kilobytes of memory space. That is particularly for RAM area. Because we have to write and read the data from the interrupt vector addresses. So this is about the interrupt vector table. This is very important. Please prepare this one properly with the diagram. Next. After that, so you have to go with programmable interrupt controller 8259. Programmable interrupt controller. So before going to this, so what is the necessity of programmable interrupt controller? So already we discussed there are three different methods we are using to transfer the data from the processor to the device. Those methods are, one is the programmed IO data transfer method, second one is the interrupt driven data transfer method, and third one is the direct memory accessing. So this 8251 which is used to transfer the data through a interrupts techniques, interrupt driven data transfer. Anyway, that is our very first point. Is second one is, what is the necessity? Suppose if 8259 is not there, is it possible to send the data from the processor to device through interrupt driven concept? Is it possible or not? Anyone? Suppose 8259 we are not using, is it possible to transfer the data between the processor and a device through an interrupt concept? Anyone?
Possible. Interrupt driven.
How? How it is possible? Give me one idea.
So
By? Yes, you tell me. So the 8086 processor has two interrupt request lines. One is INTR, another one is NMI. So there are two pins which are dedicated for interrupts. One is NMI, one is INTR. With the help of these two lines, we can accommodate two devices. And the processor connected with two devices, these two interrupt sources. Suppose device 1 is connected to NMI, device 2 is connected to INTR. Device 1 is connected to INTR, device 2 is connected to NMI. It means always which one provides the service first, NMI or INTR? There are two. NMI. The reason is NMI is the non-maskable interrupt, is the highest priority. So that always the priority is given to the device which is connected with NMI. So when is the request, when is the service is given to the device connected to the INTR? After completion of the NMI service. Otherwise, to disable the NMI, then provide the service to the INTR. Okay. Here the concept is clear. If you want to communicate more than two devices, how it is possible? I have 7 devices. I want to connect 7 devices with 8086 processor. How to connect that one is? If it is 2 devices, it's okay. One is connected to NMI, another one is connected to INTR. It's excellent. Up to that one is. If I need to communicate more than 2 devices with 8086 processor, is it possible or not? Yes, this is the concept here. These programmable interrupt controllers are required whenever more than one device or more than one device is requesting the processor, or more than one device is connected to the processor through single interrupt request line. Listen carefully. The programmable interrupt controllers are required whenever the processor is, or whenever more number of devices are connected to the processor through single interrupt request line. So always you don't think about, we have NMI, another one is INTR. With the use of INTR, with the help of 8259, we can connect at a time 8 devices. With the help of single 8259, we can make the connections of for 8 devices. 8 devices. I will show one simple example. Let us see this diagram. So just at a glance, let us see top 8259 only. In a top 8259, there are 8 request lines, IR0 to IR7. Each request is a one device. Each request is one device. And by using single 8259, we can connect 8 devices. Those 8 devices may or may not communicate with your microprocessor unit. That communication will be takes place by INT pulse and interrupt acknowledge. But at a time, only one device is connected with the CPU. Which one is connected first? That can be decided by the priority of among this. Suppose if IR0 is the highest priority, so that the service is given to the first IR0 device. If this one is completed, you can go with this. Sir, okay, leave the priorities. What is the point is, here we have one interrupt request. Okay, interrupt request only. This is INTR. Through this interrupt request line, so how many you are accommodated? 8 devices, IR0 to IR7. And multiple devices connected to a single interrupt request line. At the time, we required 8259. Without 8259, we can't connect multiple devices through the interrupt request line. Are you clear about this point is? Yes? Are you clear what is the necessity of this one is? Chalsala, what is the necessity of programmable interrupt controller? The necessity is when more than one device is connected to the processor through a single interrupt request line. So anyway, so that is about the necessity of programmable interrupt controller. So this is an architecture of 8259 programmable interrupt controller. The major blocks in this one is interrupt request register, priority resolver, in-service register, ISR, control logic, data bus buffer, read and write control logic, and cascade buffer or comparator. So let us see one by one what is the importance of each and every block. So this 8259, so this one has the 8 interrupt request lines, IR0 to IR7. Each request line accommodates one device. And at a time, we can connect the 8 devices. Those devices are connected with the interrupt request register. So interrupt request register, it holds the data. So what is the data is? Where the devices are connected. Just like it is a 8-bit register. Among the 8 bits, if all bits are 11111, that indicates that 8 devices are connected to that respective register. Among the 8 bits, if any one of the bit is 0, that indicates that respective device is not connected to the so and so place. The interrupt request register, it stores the information about the devices which we are connected with interrupt request lines. If any device is not connected, that particular position is treated as 0. That particular position value is treated as 0. So that is about the interrupt request register. It consists of information about the devices which are connected to that respective interrupt request lines. Next one is interrupt mask register. What do you mean masking? What do you mean mask? So what do you mean masking? Yes? Hello?
protecting, sir.
Masking is nothing but a to disable it. Which source is not required, which interrupts request is not required. So that simply you can mask it. Mask it means disable it. Interrupt mask register, it consists of information related to the which interrupt request sources are disabled. This is also a register. Among this register, if any one of the bit is 1, that indicates that corresponding request is, corresponding interrupt is disabled. So interrupt is IR0, IR1, IR2, IR3. So such request lines are disabled. That means maskable. So that is about this one consists of information related. So which sources are masked? Which sources are masked? Next, in-service register. Even in-service register is also 8-bit register. The name itself is given in service. Among the 8 interrupt requests, only one interrupt source is in service. Is it correct? We have 8 interrupt sources. But among the 8 interrupt sources, we are providing the service only for one. Only for one. That one information you have to store here in service register. In service register is a one of 8-bit register. Among this, only one bit is forced into high state. Remaining all the bits are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That means that which bit is in high, that corresponding interrupt request is currently in accessing. Currently in accessing. So in service register, it holds the data about which interrupt request source is currently processing. Currently in process. Or understand these three. This one is interrupt request register. It holds the how many devices are requesting the 8259 to communicate with the processor. ఏదైతే రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తుందో దట్ కరస్పాండింగ్ రిజిస్టర్ ఇస్ ఫోర్స్డ్ ఇంటూ 1. ఇంకా మీకు అర్థం అవ్వాలంటే ఒక చిన్న లెక్క. ఇప్పుడు లెటర్స్ టేక్ ఇది తీసుకోండి, ఏమేమి పట్టించుకోవద్దు కింద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. IR0, IR1, IR2, IR3, IR4, IR5, IR6, IR7. దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ది రిజిస్టర్స్, జస్ట్ లైక్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ రిజిస్టర్. ఇప్పుడు 7th బిట్ అనేది 1 ఉందనుకోండి, దట్ మీన్స్ ద డివైస్ ఈస్ కనెక్టెడ్ విత్ IR7. If 5th bit is 0, that indicates that corresponding device is not connected at IR5, interrupt request. అది మీనింగ్ ఇక్కడ. ఎక్కడైతే 1 ఉంటుందో, సో under the particular place the device is connected. The device is connected. Otherwise, the device is not connected. So that if the device is not there, the request is not there. That part is. So that is about the interrupt. Mask is that particular bit, particular interrupt request source is disabled. That can be handled with the help of mask registers. In service, so which interrupt request is currently in service? Such an information is kept in service register. These three informations are tolerated by this priority resolver. ఎన్ని రిక్వెస్ట్లు ఇచ్చాయి, ఆ రిక్వెస్ట్ చేసినవి మాస్కింగ్లో ఉన్నాయా లేదా, కరెంట్లీ ఏది ఉంది, కరెంట్లీ ఏది సర్వీస్లో ఉంది. బై కలెక్టింగ్ దిస్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, దెన్ ఇట్ డిసైడ్స్ ద priority levels. Priority resolving. అంటే దిస్ priority resolving is required to provide the service for the next request. కరెంట్గా జరుగుతూ ఉంది ప్రాసెస్. Based on this information, you can understand that currently in service some X source. But what is the next source we have to provide the service? That can be decided by in service information, that whatever the service is provided for the next, that source, so that one is connected with a device or not. So these three informations are collected with the help of the priority resolver. Then it decides whether it can requesting the processor or not. Based on this information, it sends the INT pulse to the processor. If the processor is ready, it accepts the INTA bar, then it provides the service. So this is about the series. The interrupts at IR0 to IR7 input lines are handled by IAR internally. IAR stores all the interrupts in it in order to serve them one by one on the priority basis. So it stores the information related to this request lines. In service register. So this register stores all the interrupt requests. Those are being serviced. That is, ISR keeps a track of requesting being serviced. But the basic difference between these two is, in case of interrupt request register, there is a chance of all the bits are in high state. That means every device is requesting the 8259 for service. But here, at a time, only one interrupt request is in service. So that the chance is only one bit is in high state in service register. The remaining 7 bits are always kept into 000 state. At a time, only one. So this priority resolver, it gets the priority of the highest priority is selected and stored in the so and so. So this is IR0 is the highest priority and IR7 is the lowest priority. This is the fixed priority as per the hardware. That priority levels we can change according to the mode of operations of the 8259. So this is the major block representations. Next, coming to the data bus buffer, you know that. So you have to transfer or receive the data through this one is chip selection, read and write control logic. So this is the responsible to control this entire operations. So read and write control logic has chip selection. Whenever the chip selection equal to 0, this read and write 8259 is selected. Otherwise, 8259 is not selected. So A0 and A0 of 8259 is connected to the A1 of 8086 processor. A0 of 8259 is connected to the A1 of 8086 processor. This one differentiates which command instructions are selected. In 8259, there are two types of command instructions. One is initialization command instructions, and second one is operational command instructions that can be selected by A0. But the point is, A0 of 8259 is connected to the A1 of 8086 processor. Read bar. So whenever it is low, so you can read the data from the selected device by the processor, or you can read the status of 8259 in a status register. So write bar signal. Whenever the write bar signal is active, it writes or processor send the data towards the respective device, or it writes the instruction, write the data in a command word or control word registers. Next one is cascade buffer or comparator. So this is the block which is used to expand the number of devices. So this is used to cascade the more number of 8259s to accommodate more devices. And a single 8259, it accommodates the how many? 8 devices. So, but with the help of this cascade block, so we can accommodate maximum of 64 devices. 64 devices. So there are 3 cascade lines, CSA0, CSA1, CSA2. So there are 3 bits. That means how many addresses you can generate? With the 3 bits, how many addresses you can generate? 8 addresses.
8, sir.
8 addresses. 000 to 1111. 000 in address of 18259. 0, 0, 1 for next. Last one is 1, 1, 1, 1. Totally 8. ఇక్కడ మీకు ఇందాక చూపించాను నేను ఆల్రెడీ. So this is about cascading. This is 18259. This is another 8259. All are connected with cascade signals. If CASJ to CA2 all are 0, 0, 0, the first one is selected. If it is 1, second one is selected. If it is 1, 1, 1, 1, last one is selected. Each one is accommodates the 8 devices. Each one is accommodate 8. So total number of 8259s are in type. Can you guess it according to these connections? How many 8259s you have? We can accommodate 64 devices. How many 8259s are required?
8, sir.
Total 9 are required. 9 8259s are required. Among the 9 8259s, one is call it as a master and remaining 8 are call it as slaves. 8 are call it as slaves. Each slave accommodate 8 devices. 8 devices. So totally 64 devices with 9 8259s. Right? 8259s. So this is about the architecture of so and so. SP by EN bar. So slave programming or enable. Slave programming or enable. Slave programming means you are connected with 8259s are cascaded or not. So whenever it is cascaded, let us see here. Slave programming by enable. So this is the master and this is the slave. This is a slave. So during the slave, SPEN bar is connected with ground. So during the master, that one is connected with 5 volts. 5 volts. Slave programming or enable the masters, just like. So this is the way of connections. These are the cascade lines. Cascade lines. You can take example ఇచ్చింది only for how to cascade 2 8259s. ఇలాంటివి 8 connect చేస్తారు total. So at a glance, let us see about this one is interrupt request register. It holds the request from the devices. Next, interrupt mask register. It holds the which interrupt request sources are disabled. In service register, it holds the data about currently processed interrupt request source. By getting these 3 information, the priority resolver, it identifies the which interrupt need to provide the next service. So according to that, it generates the INT pulse towards the processor. If the processor is ready, then it sends the interrupt acknowledge for exchanging the data between the data bus buffer. So this is about the 8259 programmable interrupt controller architecture. So do you have any doubt? You can ask. So next class we will see about the interrupt 8259 priority modes, 8259 priority modes, and then followed by the command words. So initialization command words and followed by the operational command words. So do you have any doubt? You can ask.
Sir, 8259 యూస్ చేసి ఏ డివైసెస్ కనెక్ట్ చేయొచ్చు సార్?
ఏ డివైస్ అయినా కనెక్ట్ చేయొచ్చండి. There is no restriction. There is no restriction to connect connections. You can connect keyboard. You can connect D2A. You can connect traffic light controllers. Anyone.
ఓకే సార్.
For all microprocessors కి ఇప్పుడు embedded systems ఏదైనా కానివ్వండి. So they are connected to the devices through an interrupt mechanism. Interrupt mechanisms. Real time operation అంటారు కదా. Real time operation రావాలంటే you have to learn a lot in interrupts. You have to learn a lot in interrupts. Next. Interrupt vector table బాగా నేర్చుకోండి ఇది. ఓకే, టేబుల్ బాగా నేర్చుకోండి. వాట్ ఈస్ అన్ ఇంటరప్ట్? 8251 block diagram, 8259 block diagram. They are useful to you for writing the examinations especially. Okay, thank you.